capture just to make sure we get it right first time.
Still live, yeah, no problem. Yeah. We'll just do a quick introduction. Okay, we're live here at Coached. This is Jim.
How we doing?
And
This is Regine.
Hello.
Eugene. Okay, so live streaming my lactate test. Gonna give a brief summary.
Yeah, well, this isn't your first time doing this, right? We've done this once before.
I've done it once before, yeah, it was around 18 months ago now, so I'm interested to see how things have changed.
Yeah, exactly. So what today is going to be all about is understanding your fitness, getting an up-to-date reflection of that, but at the same time having you walk away with accurate heart rate and pace training zones, so that all this hard work I've seen you do at the track, for example, is actually going to really pay off.
Okay, so I should know how hard to work out when I'm at the track and when I'm doing my runs, right?
Yeah,
I
exactly.
think it's fine, yeah.
Yeah, so what we're looking to do is put you through a step test where we have you start off at a relatively comfortable effort, and the whole concept here is to have you run for 3 minutes followed by a minute rest, where we have you hop your feet onto the sides, get a lactate reading which we take from the fingertip, and that tells me essentially how hard you're working, with the idea that we get back on again, we rinse and repeat that process, right? 5-6 times typically is the average, to the point where by that 5th or 6th stage, because we're consistently adding speed,
Yep.
you're going to find that you cross your lactate threshold eventually. So
Okay, eventually, yeah.
universally, it's accepted to be measured as around 4 millimoles
Okay.
of lactate, but I want to clear that by a decent margin to really guarantee that I can identify your threshold. So,
Okay,
but
awesome.
20 to 25 minutes of intermittent running is all you're probably going to do.
Okay.
Once we figure out what we need to start you off at, because obviously we've tested you before, but 18 months is a long time. I like to think we're fitter
Yep,
since then,
should be.
so we might not need to start off at the
Been
same
training with the
speed.
Falcons, so.
Exactly. So we'll figure out what that should be in a second, and then once we know that, we'll get some baselines of your heart rate. We'll get a heart rate monitor on you as well.
Okay.
And then
So
yeah.
other heart rate monitors as well. Be interesting
Yeah, I was
to
gonna say
compare the
you,
results.
you're
Yeah.
okay. You've got a chest strap on as well.
I don't know, but yeah. Oops.
That'll be the local fire alarm.
Address system
It's a standard
test.
practice. But yeah, we'll get into it now then, shall we? So
Okay.
let's just put the the heart rate monitor on your arm.
Yep. Okay.
I'll leave that part to Regine.
Okay.
And then we'll get some
Switch.
baselines.
Make sure it's nice and slow.
Did you bring any water with you as well today, Andrew?
I've got water and what I usually drink, just
Wicked, yeah. Because if you're going to get thirsty throughout the test, I'll just put this on the side over
okay,
there.
great.
Is there any way to turn on the screen? Because I can't really see what I'm filming.
I think batteries may go out quickly. If you can. I don't think you can see from here, unfortunately. Oh, we'll be fine.
Get some baselines.
Yeah.
Alright, man, are we good to go?
Yep, let me just put this one on as well. Indoor. I'm interested to it'll be good to compare the heart rate as well.
Public address system test. This is a functional test of systems operation in the building. Please do not be alarmed. Thank you.
Last Saturday it did happen.
Oh, I did?
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright, so I'm just gonna get
Public address
baselines
system
first,
test.
so every time we get a baseline,
This
we
is a
just
functional
do it
test
from
of
this
systems
index
operation
finger.
in the
Okay.
building.
Yeah. So
Please do not be alarmed.
during
Thank
every
you.
rest period, you just hop onto the side, stick out your middle, not middle finger,
Yeah.
right
Public
index
address
finger,
system
and then we get
test.
your blood lactate from there.
This is a
So if
functional
anyone's
test
squeamish
of
about
systems
blood,
operation in
close
the
your
building.
eyes.
Please do not be alarmed.
Don't worry,
Thank you.
we won't go crazy on it.
Yeah.
In fact, we won't prick you every single time. We'll just
Public address
squeeze the
system
finger a
test.
little bit
Ah,
so
okay,
that
yeah.
This is a functional test of systems operation in the building. Please do not be alarmed. Thank you.
get your hand to the side.
That wasn't too painful.
Yeah.
Precious blood.
So last time we tested you, Andrew, actually we started around 8 kilometers an hour.
Okay.
But even then, back then, that was a little conservative.
Yeah.
So let me just ask you this: if you're going to go for a warm up, what kind of pace would you typically warm up at? Just something nice and easy, kind of conversational.
Yes, 6 minutes just put it on the track.
It's quite comfortable, right?
Yeah.
Like you can hold a full conversation.
Yeah.
Okay. So maybe we'll, instead of 8 kilometers an hour, we'll go to 10 kilometers an hour, and then we'll go up in 1 kilometer increments from there. Yeah.
Okay.
Because you topped out last time. Well, we didn't go further than 13 kilometers an hour because you're
That's gonna be
possible by that point.
Okay.
But I like to think in your current state, you can probably go a little bit faster today.
Okay.
But we'll find out soon enough. Well, actually, this is baseline.
Yeah, this is baseline.
Okay, so you got a little high baseline. 1.8 millimoles is how much you've got at the moment. Normally, it should be around 1 millimoles. So that means you're overly stressed, fatigued, or tired.
Okay.
Possibly through training, especially for the
Does
physical
alcohol
stuff.
consumption make any difference?
A little bit, but more through dehydration. How much did you have last night? You have a few cheeky
Well, we had
bites.
a couple. Yeah, I did a track session on Tuesday, and then I did a tempo session on Thursday.
Okay.
And it was a little bit harder tempo session than I should have done maybe.
On Thursday?
Yeah. So it's,
Friday, Saturday, 2 days. Yeah.
Thursday
There's
morning.
no concept muscle source. Let's warm you up a little bit first by
Yeah.
walking. Just pop your feet on the belt for me, mate. And just walk it out first, okay?
Yeah.
Let's get some blood flowing. I'm guessing you've not done much today as well.
nope, nothing today.
So just walk for me at a nice fast pace. Just for a few minutes just to help get some blood flowing, get rid of some of this residual lactate. Yeah, that's pretty high. I don't want it to be really that high before we start the test.
My wife always told me I should drink more water.
You should drink more water, yes. How much do you normally drink?
I don't drink anymore.
Really?
Okay. Unless I'm exercising. Just coffee and beer.
Coffee and beer.
Oh, wine.
Right.
It contains water.
So actually, fun fact, hydration does impact lactate levels. So
Okay.
you get dehydrated to increase the amount of lactate in your bloodstream. So you need to optimize hydration ideally to help
Okay.
aid you when you run. So
okay.
don't be shy about electrolytes with water and getting that in your system.
Okay.
Before your track run, when I see you on a Tuesday,
Yeah,
as
okay.
well as during, like sit on it throughout, just to assist you.
Yeah. When I'm training now, I definitely
Then you should get 3 liters of water throughout the day,
3 liters
and then additional water from exercise.
Okay, wow.
Yeah, so don't be shy about it, okay? Yeah. So what we're going to do, I'm just going to give you only 4 minutes or so of walking, just to kind of assist you, because I don't want to have you spend too much time before we go.
I won't go from the station, so
And we're also going to not go at 10 but 9, just to take air outside of course and see that as more of a warm up as well, and
Okay.
assist in hopefully bringing this number back down before it actually goes up again. Okay? Now what I'll also get you to do on your devices, I mean you can already see the heart rate, right? Can you see your heart rate on this one?
yep.
Okay, cycle through the Garmin menu to the one that just shows heart rate and nothing else. I think you should have that as a default, right?
Yeah, I've changed it, but yeah.
Oh, okay. We'll just go with whichever menu where
Yeah.
you can quite easily see heart rate.
Yeah.
Just so that, because when we go through this test, when we put you through it, she might ask every now and then what the heart rate says, because we want to see how it
Can you
compares.
see it?
Yeah, we've got ours, but I want to see if yours are reliable, because you're going to train with these, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I want to make sure they hold true to form, because sometimes we found that people who test, their heart rate sensors are nowhere near close to what we have.
yeah.
So there's no point in me giving you zones if the device you're tracking with isn't accurate with the device,
Exactly,
right?
yeah.
So it's just,
You've got 75 on there, right? Is that
this is what, yeah, this is saying 75 right now on the monitor.
Okay, this is coming up now, interesting. This was almost 75, now it's going to 73.
Okay.
Just make sure.
Yeah, make sure it's nice and snug on the wrist and not too loose.
It's very slow.
Okay, good. Alright, we'll give you another minute and 20 seconds then, and then we'll get into it. Actually, at the end of the 4 minutes, you have to drop back too far, mate.
Yeah.
At the end of the 4 minutes, just pop your feet onto the side, we'll reset the treadmill, and then we'll get in at 9 kilometers an hour, okay?
When my ground was all over the place, it's going down to the high 60s, but this is
Yeah, 76. It's alright, it'll calibrate itself as you get moving.
okay.
Maybe it's only for running, the whole.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So speed up. It would be funny if the best thing I could do to improve my running would be just drink water.
Drink water, right?
It would certainly help,
Yeah.
not hinder. So it's funny though, Andrew, honestly, like when I meet a lot of people, right, through the lab, and obviously people have problems that they're trying to fix, they're looking to get faster and more efficient. It's not necessarily the training that's the problem or the zones necessarily, it's the other fundamental stuff, right? Like not getting enough sleep,
Yeah.
not hydrating properly, not eating a balanced diet. Once they correct that, then they get through that plateau. It's like, oh, if only I entertained that a little bit more, you know, people feel like they've been messed out. hydration in Singapore is so hot and humid.
Yeah.
It should be a non-negotiable, right? Like,
Yeah.
yeah. So just try to get into the habit.
Yeah, definitely my hydration has improved over the last few years.
Alright, I'll be feeling to the side. So right then, so your watches are all recording, right? They're just
Yeah,
ticking
I'm
away.
recording so I can lap the.
Yeah, you lap through both and then we'll get into it, okay? Alright, hop your feet on the belt for me, mate, because I'm going to build you up now. You can hop back on. Alright, there we go. So you get to a light shuffle for me. Okay, so Regine's going to let you know when she needs you to hop your feet to the sides to start that minute rest. So you don't have to worry about staring at the time the entire time.
Okay.
She'll do that part for you.
Okay.
You just worry about matching the speed and putting the least amount of work necessary to maintain the speed, okay?
And also this little blue thing is like the middle of the track.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just try to stay in the middle. Because some people look at this and then it's slightly skewed to the right.
It is true. Some people do accidentally drift onto the right and catch their feet on the sides. What did we choose to run in today?
These are just Nike, yeah, just some basic ones. They're probably a little bit old actually. I think the cushioning is wearing out, so.
So these are your daily trainers?
Yeah, so, yeah.
You get most of your mileage done, I think, yeah? 50%, 60%?
Yeah, so the tracks usually have many of these.
Are you?
Yeah.
These are the track?
Yeah, okay.
Okay. I don't know why I pictured you wearing something else. These aren't carbon plated though, right?
No, so I tried that. And then this is running Vaporfly.
Okay.
And then weekends I'm usually around the trails, so got some,
What do you want?
shoes. It is also Nike at the moment, but I got some North. Well, I got some North Face. And then Hooker gave me a pair to try at the Speed Goat 6. So they were great, they're almost like too grippy when you're not used to so much grip.
Is that right?
Because I'm used to kind of a little bit of sliding around.
Okay.
Especially
Doesn't give you that anymore.
Yeah,
Too grippy.
especially the Nike ones I try to go with the Vibing Sole.
Oh, okay.
So the Speed Goat, so
I'm not exactly an avid trail runner myself, but when I do run, I use Ultra.
Okay.
The guy I train with, he's big into Ultra, so he told me to get there, and I actually find them to be really good as well.
Yeah.
I haven't experimented with the trail shoes. I just built one pair and I'm happy with it. So.
exactly, yeah.
Alright, I'm gonna ask you on a scale of 1 to 10, how will you rate your effort now?
Easy. No, yeah.
Easy, so
Try
like
to give us
1,
an
2,
exact
if
number,
you
yeah.
give 1 to 2.
Yeah, 2.
You can say 1.5.
Yeah, or
If you're in
1.5.
the middle, you can say 0.5. But yeah, we're doing this because we want to, if you remember, just track to see how your brain is in relation to your body.
Okay.
Sometimes how we feel up here doesn't necessarily correlate with down here.
Okay, yeah.
We've got 10 more seconds.
Yeah, 10 seconds and then we can hop on the sides. Let's see how the first reading comes in.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Okay.
Now, if your finger does start to heal up throughout the test, we will give you another finger prick.
Okay, sure.
But usually it's wildly unnecessary, as Regine said
Okay.
earlier. So yeah, we aim to be nice people and only put one hole in you today. Depends on who your favorite sports scientist is.
You're close.
Alright, so once this hits 4 minutes, we'll hop back on at 10k per hour.
Okay.
How did that one go?
1.9.
Interesting, still early days. Let's see how things transpire.
Is that what you'd expect to go?
Well, it's a bit early days yet, I can't predict anything just yet, but alright, careful, we got one mate.
And let's go.
So how much volume are you doing at the moment?
So last year I was only doing track sessions, which is roughly around 8k.
Okay.
Then the Saturday session, which was usually 20 to 25.
That's okay. It's supposed to be quite low intensity though, like road.
Yeah. And then quite a few races in the events and the occasional park runs, so
Okay. What's your weekly?
so there's only around 30k on this average, not a lot.
Is that the plan moving forward as well?
So I'm going to add in 10 runs.
Okay. So that's a long run
Yeah.
And then
That's it, yeah.
Just 3 runs. Interesting. Okay. And the tempo runs, the idea is to have longer intervals with slightly lower intensities on the speed runs.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay. Are you going to do that in traffic or just in the park?
Um,
On the road?
just on the road, yeah. So I did one on Thursday. I did down Riverville.
Oh yeah, the park connector.
Yeah. Which actually I was surprised because when you're going under the roads, you do have quite a few surprising hills there.
Yeah, it's actually steeper than you think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta be careful. Once you get to the Bay Area, though, you can link all the way
Yeah.
through, then it's obviously a bit.
That's a good point. Yeah, I started at Robinson Key and ran down 2k. Took a 2-minute rest and then got back. Did that 4 times.
Okay. Good to know. By the way, I'm asking and probing because I want to get an idea how much time you're spending at a low intensity and
Okay.
a high, because that's going to ultimately dictate what we're seeing.
Yeah.
Because how you choose to spend your time is very important.
Yeah.
And the intensity you're spending it at. So I want to make sure that it's obviously optimized, that you're not running too hard too often, which is a very common thing.
Okay.
I want to make sure that you're spending your time wisely.
Yeah.
So you're 1 more minute, and then we'll get you to hop off again and see how this goes. What's your heart rate there?
1, 2, 4, and 1, 2, 2. 1, 2, 3.
There you go.
Yeah. And how will you rate your effort now?
Let's see. 3.5.
3.5, okay. Yeah. Yeah, it seems like the waters have caught up now.
Yeah. I probably do need to slow down the Sunday runs more.
The Sunday one,
Yeah, because I do a lot of hills as well, so it is relatively intense.
Because that's the only run actually per week you're supposed to be doing your aerobic work, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Nice part, yeah. So you got to definitely make sure that it's an easy effort and the most steady. You should not be going beyond your aerobic threshold.
Yeah.
Unless you're doing race pace intervals as you're tapering into a race, but I wouldn't strongly advise that to be inherently aerobic.
Or about 10 seconds left.
I did quite a few races as well.
When you say a few races,
So I did everything from 5k, 10k, 21k, 40k, and 50k. And then road and trail. So this is it, and then even a hill sprint race. So.
how many weeks do you have in between races?
I mean, it's probably once a month, something like that, or just over once a month.
Okay, interesting. Here's the thing, like, races are quite challenging, right? They're quite intense. Your body needs time to recover and actually comes back on. I think people underestimate.
Alright, we are back to 1.8.
Okay,
Oh, wow.
That's good.
Yeah, so like, then, he's big athlete, I think you can choose to be battles, like even most of the athletes that don't race all the time in Europe.
Oh, really? Right.
They take their battles wisely and then they execute well. Right?
Okay.
So racing
We've
every
got
month.
10 more
Yeah.
seconds before we get back on.
Maybe performing so often is what you don't do.
Yeah.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You're nuts.
Is it the right speed?
Yeah, 9, 10 hours. Yeah. And once again, it's not sexy to talk about, it's recovery, it's just as important as training yourself.
Yeah.
It's just, say, no one cares about that part usually, it's more about what the next training session, what the next training session is on. So,
Yeah.
in fact, my ranking just as important. So, that's when your body actually gets to work recovering and bouncing back to a more better. So, 8 hours sleep, ideally, proper hydration, ideally, correct nutrition, these things we should be tracked to.
Nutrition good, sleep reasonably good. We just need to work on the hydration.
Yeah, those being the top 2 things I'd address first. I mean, there's other things we can do to help aid in recovery, right? Like there's massage, there's these compression boots, there's other kind of gadget-based formats.
So I've been doing a lot of Pilates, so 2 sessions a week.
Yeah, like active recovery, yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's really helped mobility and overall strength.
Good. So you're running just three times a week?
Well, yeah, 3 times a week from this week. Before that was kind of 2 times a week. 2 to 3 because then I do park runs. When I did the park run, I usually worked by park as well.
Yeah, park runs are 5K efforts, right?
Yeah.
If you're not holding back, are you?
Exactly, yeah.
How often a day?
They're every week. It's actually 4, it's going to be 5 around Singapore.
Oh, really? Which is the which one?
Better.
Oh,
were supposed to do the test. Yeah.
Nice.
We were supposed to do the test today, but it was rained off.
Oh.
Which one do you go to in East Coast Park?
I like the Bishan one, to be honest.
Oh yeah, okay. Fair enough. Yeah, I used to run around there a lot when I did that. I moved back to the east and stuff.
Yeah,
East
so
Coast Park is there to go to.
I got my all-time PB there in December.
Oh yeah, what was it?
1753.
Hey, what pace do you hold for that then?
3:35.
Yeah. Alright. How's the pace now? How's the effort now?
Around 5.
Were you wearing your Navy flies for that?
Yes.
Just checking.
Yeah. And then I got a 10K PB on Christmas and New Year when I went back to Japan,
Okay.
taking advantage of the weather.
Yeah.
So what did I do? I think I did 38, 15 or something like that.
Okay.
And I was just running on my own.
Really?
So,
Okay. 12 seconds left there. And then it's the 11-minute mark. What? Stay nice and close to the front.
yeah. And last year I got 5K, 10K,
2, 1.
and then a 21K PB within a 13 or 14 day period.
Wow. Okay.
So I did.
Is that intentional?
The last one was intentional. I thought, well, I did it as well. I did the Milwaukee Marathon, which was actually quite good. And so I was surprised with that one.
That was like me in August last year. I raced the Bali half marathon. And I was not expecting to run a PB. I was just there for fun. But that's what 5 kilometers is consistently applying it.
Yeah.
4 kilometers down again.
Going
But I actually ran at 1:45, which for me was about a 5-minute PB.
Wow,
I
nice.
was actually really happy with that.
Yeah.
Actually.
Alright,
Sure,
so
man.
once this hits 12, you'll get back on. Now, top 10 power is 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Ready?
3, 2, 1.
Still quite easy.
Yeah.
Still alive?
You're fit,
Should be right.
so. We're still under 2.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to put you on the next one because you're getting hard to
Okay,
run
sure.
out.
Can I grab some water?
Unless,
You want to do it now?
yeah.
Yeah.
You want to drink from the rest period or do you want to drink while you run?
I'm good now. So my best result last year, one of my best was the marathon. So I knocked 27 minutes off my PB.
Wow, that's a huge improvement, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is that the difference?
Yeah, here. So I did the Singapore marathon three years consecutively. I actually the only marathon I've done officially. First year was 4 hours, then 3:53, and then 3:27. 3:27. 3:27.
Do you think the route helped a lot? They changed it up, right?
Yeah. I don't think it made that much difference.
Because Shears Bridge is a 10K this year, not a like 35K. So you don't need to change
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
I think it might help a little bit. Not tectonically, but I think that
Yeah.
with 10K legs as opposed to 35K legs, how much time do I do?
Yeah, that was harsh the year before. It wouldn't have made a difference. I was already dying at that point. I
So you
think
think
it's
it's come a long way?
fitness has come a long way. I think hydration
Okay.
has come a long way as well. I think it actually gets easier as you get faster.
Well, of course, we only beat it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I was
The
tired.
effort should be the same, it's just how quick increases in efficiency, right? So you get obviously athletes, what, if you're running 23.5 hours instead of 4.5 hours, it's 1 hour less, then you're running your speed in the sun, everything else, right? So,
Yeah.
the pro athletes have it easier.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Head up to the sun's easy.
Yeah.
Alright.
I still say it's very 6. Not changed much.
Okay.
But I'm just starting to enjoy it now. It's going down. I think it's a 5.
Yeah.
How's the heart rate look, mate?
Is it at 116. Oh, 138. Well, this the Garmin's way out.
Yeah.
Did you say 116?
Yeah, it's way
Yeah.
out. The Apple Watch is 137.
Alright, for 10 seconds.
Get out. 114. It should be up around 143.
4, 3, 2, 1. I'm just gonna get you to hold it down for a bit. So that you're not leaking blood
Yeah.
while you run.
The focus is the track session is really helpful. Sure.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Very polarized efforts, right?
Yeah.
Very hard to easy, or at least certainly hard to easy efforts. Yeah.
Yeah.
How is that structured and how's Tim doing it? Is he just doing it on a weekly basis, or like towards a particular event?
Well, he's got a very structured block training plan. 12 weeks, 2 groups or
Draw your attention to the next three.
yeah.
And
Yeah, so 2 sessions, a VO2 max session and then a personal session, and then different groups within, so like 4 different groups, and then even some groups faster, slower with each group, and a different mix of every time.
how does he know which group to put you in?
So it's up to people, there's a lot of guidance around it, but working out your own pace, and then they're just pacing in this week group, so it's up to people to choose their own.
Okay.
And then, yeah, once you know, you can kind of adjust.
Okay. Yeah, the track is getting rather busy though, isn't it?
Yeah, I know that's.
Yeah, the Achilles heel to it all.
I know, yeah, it's, I don't know what's going to happen there.
Yeah, the track is getting a bit beaten up as well, isn't it? Because I think it's being used quite heavily, and the
Yeah.
track turf is starting to tear up.
Yeah,
a bit.
it's always getting recovered, right?
People with other tracks.
Yeah.
It keeps going the way it's going. It's
Yeah.
maybe not anytime soon, but they've got to get rid of those metal gates.
Yeah, exactly right. In different places every week.
Yeah.
Just to keep people.
Have you ever ran the Serangoon?
No, I haven't known.
It's a brand new track, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Really nice. You should go check it out.
It should work.
Yeah, I don't know if it's nearer to you, right? Like you're at Bishan, so like you're at Bishan. So
Where I work.
check it out. Yeah, it's a brand new track. Very nice to run. Yeah, I go there every Friday morning to do a conditioning run. So that's more like strength and conditioning slash running full time. Mainly for those people who are like 10 towards 10Ks, 5Ks, and high rocks. Because I mean, marathon runners will certainly benefit, but it's more high rocks that just
Yeah.
that's something I'll be taking into again in the year. So
Okay, nice.
time we on. There. Yeah.
1 more minute.
Yeah. Check it out.
Yeah. How are we feeling right now?
Yeah, maybe 7.
7? Yeah.
Very consistent lactate readings.
Yeah.
So now that we're into like stage 4, stage 5, it's telling me more and more each time we collect something, and I'm happier with what I'm seeing and the electrolytes are on the baseline. At least it's holding strong, it's not going up immediately. So that's promising. But your overall concentration, I would still want to encourage us to being able to bring it down. Yeah, but ideally somewhere between 1 to 2 kilowatts, like 1.10 instead of 1.8, 1.9.
Yeah.
So,
Wow. 12 seconds.
and usually the root cause of this, 10 seconds, so actually make sure you hold on the right
Yeah.
time. The root cause to have a slightly higher lactate readings is not training as aerobic as you could be.
A bit early, but it's okay.
10 seconds is fine. Yeah, the root cause is usually because when you're supposed to be training aerobic, you're maybe drifting out of that into zone 3 slightly, so your time isn't as well spent as it
It
is.
should be in zone 2, right?
You might just ease off the gas a little bit just to really make sure your stress is over.
Okay.
Because you did mention you're running on the hills a bit, it's a little
Yeah,
harder
you know,
than it
yeah, a lot of the long ones I have to run too hard.
Yeah, so it should really be easy. So we're very
Okay.
like if it's not, just I'll explain later as to like, simple reasons why, or I'll try my best to keep it simple. But yeah, it all boils down to muscle fiber types and how we engage them.
Okay.
Alright. So we hop back on at 20.
Yeah. And let's start doing running forms on work as well.
Okay.
But I have also have a quite a heavy bag at that point. So
4, 3, 2, 1.
The bag add a little bit more resistance of course.
yeah.
So you might have to find your output pace would be far slower than you normally want to run.
Yeah.
Just with power. I can't see an issue with it. And as long as you keep it on stress, right?
Yeah.
Take care of it. Yes. At the end of the day, mate, the more time you spend doing something, the faster you can see results, right?
Okay.
But at the same time, there is a caveat. You got to do it correctly, right? Because you can do something wrong just because you know something right. So you got to make sure that all the time you're committing, you're willing to commit, you just maximize the time spent by running right tests. But closing in a 4-minute pace, it's not quite 4-minute pace, it's 4 stage before we reach that. Yeah, this is like 4 or
17, yeah.
So like threshold runs in a day around 40 minutes. That's,
4 minute back.
yeah, 40 minutes.
How long were you holding that for?
2 kilometers times 4.
6 to 8 minutes.
Yeah.
8 minutes on.
Oh no, 2 kilometers. Yeah, 8 minutes. Yeah. 8 minutes each run, so yeah. 16. That's 2 minutes.
So by the way, we had stopped the test last that thing we just finished up
Okay.
last time. So yeah, okay. We're already doing better than we were
Yeah.
last time. Confirmation. Let's see how much further we can go.
What's the heart rate saying in the watch?
Well, Garmin's way up again. 139, this is 146.
Okay, that's a bit closer. Yeah, 139 like regular.
Chest struggling.
Yeah, and how are you doing right now?
7.5. I'm still talking, though, so maybe
Yeah.
it should be a little bit more.
Don't be surprised if we talk to you a little bit less.
Yes.
As you get faster.
Don't be surprised if I talk to you a little bit less.
Are you thirsty at this point?
Yeah.
Alright, we've got 20 seconds left.
Starting to get a little bit out of breath now.
Getting a little spicy now.
Yep. I did, yeah. But okay, yeah.
Just in case.
Yep. Thank you.
I'll just leave it over here. What's the damage?
3.3.
Ah, we've got plenty of time still.
Okay.
Wow, okay, good. So this is a decent amount of improvement since the last sort of years. So I gauge based on how many months, off of that, how much improvement I should see.
Okay.
You're already on track for it to be pretty good. So
Okay.
7 seconds left, mate. We'll hop back on.
2, 1.
What I might have to do, based on how we're looking,
Yeah.
this might put us above 4 millimoles.
Yep.
Hoping not by too much.
Yep.
We might go one more on top of that if you're feeling good.
Yeah, let's do
Just
it.
to really go top end and see
Yep.
what you're made of, okay? So it won't be max effort, it's becoming close, but more
Yeah.
sub-max.
Okay. I believe Kristen's was completely off the charts when he did his.
Say again, mate, sorry?
Kristen's was completely off the charts when he did his test.
Oh yeah?
I don't know, I thought you did it here, maybe not.
Are you allowed to disclose any information
I don't know what it was, but
If he's watching this, just in case.
it's much harder. It's something like 1,500 or something like that.
Jesus. That doesn't surprise me. Yeah, we've actually, I don't know if I can disclose this, but we're going to have, what I'll say is we're going to have some pretty fast people coming into the lab soon to do some testing.
Oh, nice.
Very fast people, in fact.
Wow.
One of them, 1.5 marathon, single half marathon, so.
Okay, nice.
That's what I'll say, that's the biggest hint you can get.
Okay. Stand outside with our cameras.
I'm very curious to see how those results come out. I shall stipulate just for the record, we do not share any of this data.
Of course, yes.
What's 15K per hour to this?
So yeah,
What's 15K per hour?
four flat.
Oh, that's all flat.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sure once you've done 8 minutes, 3 minutes, nothing.
Yeah, maybe you're right. Well, it's done technically faster than that for 18 minutes, right? 16 minutes.
exactly. Alright, how are we feeling right now?
Well, let's just say 8.
Okay, maybe we'll work for it. What's your heart rate say?
162,
That's better. We got 160.
156.
Okay, we got 161. Well, 162.
Very more seconds.
Five minutes for the speaker.
Yeah, that's
Keep in mind some of that is minute rest.
Yeah, okay.
That was-
Okay.
I'm sure you'll get another 5K by the end of this.
10.
Okay, stab at it.
Yeah. Okay.
30 seconds, catch your breath.
We got 5.2.
Yep, good. We'll do one more then. This sort of probably suck, so
Okay.
just do your best. If you
Yeah.
can't go the whole 3 minutes, let us know, and then we'll bring the incline down a bit.
Okay. Oh, is it
We'll just get what we can get, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. Alright,
This is
so
a bonus
10
round.
before
The
we
bonus
get
round.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, let's go.
Increase our cadence a little. Increase the stride a little.
Yeah. Okay, it's endurance and we're all used to
Yeah.
it sucking.
I'll give you a bit of music motivation for this one, mate.
Yeah. All good. stars align.
Halfway though. Only halfway. Keep it up.
It's a 9.
Alright, good job, mate.
Okay, thank you.
You can catch your breath. We will walk it out actually, just for a minute
Okay.
or two.
Yeah.
Yeah, be ready.
Ah, that's good. Seems I improved from last year, so let's see what the numbers say. You just need to order a case of water to leave at the office. Although having said that, there's a water machine there.
Water is part of the issue, but electrolytes are the most important thing for it, right?
Well, electrolytes only need when training, though, right?
No, not necessarily.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, training, that's a given, but I think what you're trying to get at is when I'm not training, I don't need them.
Yeah.
I mean, you can get electrolytes or minerals in your diet.
Yeah.
So I suggest you primarily make it up there. But I would still add the water you're drinking add a smaller dose of electrolytes just to ensure you retain it back.
Actually, my last health check said I had a high salt concentration in my blood.
So what's your diet like?
Uh,
A lot of salty food?
not really, like I think people. Well, there are a lot of Japanese food, but there is like not a lot of ramen these days, but a lot of miso, but I don't really have that much salt. Like I don't put
Sauces
salt.
or anything?
Soy sauce, yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot of sodium in it.
Yeah.
Anyway, that
But we
point
have a
is-
lower sodium soy sauce actually. Yeah.
The odds are, the more consistently than you realise, it's maybe just creeping in without realising. So, I mean, you don't have to necessarily cook every single ingredient you eat, but my typical advice would be to try and offer the whole less processed foods, right? Whole
Yeah, no, I try and do that to like breakfast.
with dressings and stuff like that, and
Yeah.
then you should be okay. But,
So in the morning it's usually grains,
yeah.
a lot of like full grains, and soy milk, and then an egg. And then lunch, try as much as possible to have salad.
Nice.
This is always a dressing on that one.
Yeah.
Run it down.
I'll give you 3 minutes of walking.
Okay.
If you need to hop off and stretch around the room, you can do like
Yeah.
real foam rolls and stuff like that. You need to
Yeah, sure.
use all the results while you do off.
Yeah.
And then we can chat about it. It's not your first rodeo, like I say. I'll go through the fundamentals and you can say it's right.
Yeah.
Assuming you don't go into a day-to-day.
No, it's fine, yeah. Okay. Sure, we'll see. See if I can put the video into the chapters so people can skip ahead. That's the results.
I guess it depends on how this is going to work. Is it like live streaming straight to YouTube as we speak?
Yes, yeah.
So people watching it live, and if they're not live, when you end this, then you can edit the copy of it and then upload that.
Yeah, I'll upload a copy, or I can just make the recording public as well.
Stop your watches if you haven't already, mate.
Yep, already stopped.
And off you hop. I'll pass this to you.
Okay, thank you.
And I'll grab the heart rate monitor.
So it's a treadmill distance.
Oh, sorry, I've already cleared. Just go with whatever it says on there.
Yeah.
Just for the sake of it, just hit this.
Skip that one. Perceived effort, have to put in. That's still okay.
Didn't end up needing a tripod in the end.
Yeah, exactly.
Got a human tripod.
Moving tripod. So now they're just compiling the results, then we're gonna have a see how it looks. But yeah, disappointing I had a high base to start with. Gotta do something about that. Feels much hotter now. You can see there's people. You see the live stream, it's working. Music. It's interesting to watch yourself from just a few seconds ago. Because I'm using a Japanese one actually for I'm using a Japanese one. I think the one I showed you last time. And I did try the ones you guys have so far. They were pretty good actually.
Okay. What would be your go-to electrolyte that you take when you make runs? So let's say it's a packet that you like to
I need to order some more.
I don't expect people to know these answers because at the end of the day, like, there's so many different options out there.
Yeah. What's the one you carry?
Well, so there's a couple brands. Precision Hydration is usually my standard one go-to. They have the pH 1500 sachets. Each sachet has 750 milligrams of sodium, which is a decent amount. And then every top up, I'll just add that half a liter in my soft flasks, kind of like what you have here, and then that will hold me over. But there's that, and then there's another brand that's kind of just come onto the scene in Hong Kong, but they're trying to make a presence here. It's called Supernatural Plus.
Okay.
They have these like tube-based sachets.
Okay.
So they're like nice, stick thin, easier to carry, but there's 1,000 milligrams in these.
Okay.
So altogether, very decent amount of sodium.
Okay. I was using the precision hydration tablets.
So the tablets just there. Yeah. So
not those tablets. The
not the effervescents. These are effervescents you mix in water.
Yeah, no, the
pills. You
pills,
mean? Ah, sorry. Yeah. So when people say tablets, I mean effervescent tablets because that's what they call them.
Yeah.
But yeah, so those are only 250 milligrams each.
Okay.
Which obviously they're in a practical format, right? So you can easily carry them, but most people require a little bit more than that per hour, and so you're gonna have to swallow like most likely 4 per hour, just to match your output and try to close up that deficit of electrolytes.
Okay.
So I'll use myself as an example, because my most recent crazy challenge I did was running across the country, right? I did a coast to coast, and I followed the green line.
Okay.
That was like 63 kilometers.
Wow, okay.
So we started like 10 a.m. and then we kind of went all the way through till 6 p.m. And took our time, don't get me wrong, we're not running hard. It was just for fun. But it was a damn hot day, like there was a cloud in the sky the entire time. So every time I needed to top up fluid, I would just mix a pH 1500 sachet into my water and that would hold me over. Right?
Okay. Yeah.
But the reason why it holds me over is because I know from training, because I weigh myself before and after, that I'll lose at least 1.5 liters of fluid and in my sweat per hour. It's a decent amount, right? 1 liter. And because I did our sweat test, I know I lose 1,100 milligrams per liter of sodium. So therefore, on average, every hour I'm running, I'm losing 1,600 milligrams of sodium. So if I don't do something about that, my body hates me for it, right? Certainly as I get to 2, 3, 4 hours down the road. So anything that's 750 or 1,000 milligrams per serving is obviously going to replenish a lot of that. So that's why I'm able to do stupid stuff like that. Run through the middle of the day and it not hamper how I feel. So yeah, not every training session will necessarily warrant it. Like if you're doing it in a short, easy recovery run or something, then you can maybe get away with that. But if you're going to do like a 2.5, 3 hour long run, I strongly advise you take electrolytes not only before you even start that run, but actually during and throughout, just to help your body out. It's just you've got to figure out how much you need based on what your body's losing, and then what's the most practical way to make that happen, right? So pills have their place, but I wouldn't see it as a primary way. It's usually like a backup method, because like I say, you have to swallow so many of them nowadays just to get kind of what you need, So food for thought.
Get some more,
And I touch on this, and I'm like a broken record, because at the end of the day, what we're talking about here is how we can train at a particular heart rate to benefit. In order for you to get as much control over that, hydration plays a big role. Because we just want to stress your body to a certain degree, start to end with your runs to get a certain adaptation. It's just we've chosen to live in such a crazy climate that it's that much harder than anywhere else in the world, right? I don't think people give it enough credit as to how tough it is to actually build running fitness here. People just kind of overlook the fact that it's obviously hot and humid all the time. But it really does make it way harder than it should be. So,
we've had a big debate on that about the advantages and disadvantages of living in Singapore. The advantage is it's one at a time, so you don't care about going out. Whereas when you're in Japan or UK, it's like, I don't want to get out of bed.
No, I know what you mean. I was just in the UK, right? And I was up in Scotland doing hill repeats, and it's not for the faint-hearted, I'll admit. In the pouring rain, and it's like 2 degrees, and you can barely feel your hands. Whereas you don't have that issue here, right? So, but that's why actually anyone who starts out running, my typical advice is to actually, if they're willing, run on one of these, because it gives you back control when you're in an aircon room and you've got a fan pointing at you. Like, it's that much easier to control the stress. The odds are, as a result, you build momentum faster in your fitness. Like trying to force yourself outside and try and hack the heat, as well as the lack of fitness you have at the beginning. So, and I even went through this myself, right? I don't know if you remember years ago when I moved it. I hated running. I barely run 3K because I was a powerlifter, right? And I didn't like running at all. And so, upon being hired here, clause in my contract was to run a half marathon. I don't know if you remember that, but So Ben, if you're watching, I don't know if you will be, but he made me run a half marathon within 4 months of me being employed. Otherwise he wouldn't. I had to go from hardly running 3K to running 21K, right? And so the quickest way I knew how to do that was 3 of my 4 runs a week were on one of these. Because I tried to go outdoors, but I had no aerobic fitness, right? My lactate just skyrocketed. I had to do everything to keep that down. And it meant I was on a treadmill at 7 kilometers an hour, nothing serious at all, but it was just the speed I needed to keep my heart rate where I needed it. So therefore, as the weeks and months went on, I could slowly bump the speed up at the same heart rate because I was finally developing some kind of fitness. So obviously this doesn't apply to everyone because not everyone was as worse off as I was. But there are a few people who come through to us, for lab testing, and they're really just starting from nothing, and they're trying to run a particular heart rate, or they know that zone 2 training is obviously good for you, but they get hella frustrated because they can't maintain zone 2 because they're doing it outside. So, first of all, usually the zones are wrong anyway, and it's too conservative. But at the same time, they're trying to run in the heat. So yeah.
Maybe I should do more inside and then.
Sorry, say again.
I should do more inside and just listen to some.
Well, if you're willing
something,
you're willing to hack the monotony, it might actually over time consistently pay off.
Okay.
But yeah, it's tough. You need to have that mental headspace, right? What was that? Sorry.
I've got the numbers.
It's okay. No worries.
It's like waiting for a pregnancy test or something.
Right. Okay. Should we talk numbers?
Yep. Okay.
All right.
Let's turn that down a little bit.
Yeah. I'll turn all the beams down and stuff. I'll turn the fan off if you're getting cold or something. If you're getting hot again, let me know. I'll tell you what I'll get you to do, Andrew. You sit here.
Yep.
I'll sit over here in the corner.
Okay.
And knock it out.
Sit there. Sit down front.
Right, let me just scoot to face kind of this way, mate.
Yep.
I'll have this kind of pointing at the factory angle for us. So, since last time as well, we've gone fully customized with our reports where we hand create every single report. We don't have any kind of template now like we used to do.
Yep.
But just for the sake of comparison, I'm going to pull the old one up.
Yep.
So, just so you know what you're looking at here, you can see along this bottom axis here of this lactate graph is the speed that you did in the past. So 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13 kilometers an hour. Those were the 3-minute stages. These red dots and this blue line is your lactate profiling. These green dots is your heart rate profiling. So to understand this, it's as simple as coming up and across to this axis to know what your lactate readings were saying. And then if you want to read the heart rate, for example, you just come up to any heart rate data point and come across to this axis. But it's the lactate curve and how this illustrates that tells me where you're at. Right? Okay. So in the past, you can see 8, 9, 10, and even 11 kilometers an hour, your lactate was kind of more or less the same. It's holding strong despite speed and stress going up. Your lactate readings were nice and low. So it's a very efficient place to be. You're clearing all the lactate you're producing. However, between 11 and 12, that's where that increment kicked in. So therefore, your aerobic threshold was at the time at 160 beats per minute and 11.38 kilometers an hour. Okay. Because once you go beyond this point to 12 and then 13, boom, boom, your last one's tucked in behind the green one here. Yeah. You would cross that 4 millimole line. So therefore, in the past, 12.77 kilometers an hour was your lactate threshold speed, and 172 was the heart rate. Okay. But what's quite evident with this compared to today is these lactate data points are lower. Like you're actually able to keep your lactate closer to 1 millimoles. You can see here, as opposed to 2 millimoles, which is exactly what today looks like. So I'll do my best to zoom in as much as I can and up the brightness a bit. Yeah. So we didn't start at 8, we started at 9 today. So let me just address that first. But you can see 9, 10, 11, and 12 kilometers an hour now. Once again, relatively consistent. But we are slightly closer towards 2 millimoles than before. So, like I said earlier, that indicates to me you've been probably training inherently aerobic, but maybe I would hedge my bets that towards the end of those aerobic runs, the stress is drifting out of your zone 2, maybe into zone 3. Yeah. And therefore you're not developing your slow twitch muscle fibers as optimally, okay? But as you can see, after what is now 5-minute pace or 12.06 kilometers an hour, that's when lactate starts to go up. But even then, like what's good about today is after this point, it's not like it goes boom, boom, and straight up. You're able to tolerate lactate better today as well, which has ultimately allowed us to cross the lactate threshold at now 14.38 kilometers an hour, once again to compared to 12.77. Okay. So what's the difference there? How good are you at math?
Yeah, it's about, there's a 14.43, did you say?
Yeah, so it's about 1.6 kilometers an hour faster. Yeah, and how many months has it been since I tested you? How many years?
It's about a year and a half, yeah.
Okay, so my realistic rate of growth is for every month that goes by, I would like to see a 0.1 increase in terms of speed. Okay. So if there's been a year and a half, you said? Yeah. And there's actually a 1.6 kilometer increase, you're more or less exactly where you should be there. So that's good to see, okay? But coming back to this, yeah, respectively much faster now, and that's simply because you are tolerating as well as clearing lactate better than you were before, okay? What's interesting too though is that your heart rate is slightly lower, 158, compared to, I say slightly, it's more than slightly. Before it was at 172. So not only are you running faster, but also for less effort. Okay. So obviously your conditioning on both fronts is much better, okay? So coming back to here, so 14.38 and 158, that's your lactate threshold speed and heart rate. So if we come down, just for ease, highlighted your aerobic threshold and your lactate threshold. But this is where the money's at. This is what most people come here for, and this is your training zones. So zone 1, zone 2, 3, 4, and 5 for both heart rate and pace in minutes per kilometer. So from an easy and steady perspective, you're looking at 141 and below. Now, how does that sound off the bat? Just out of curiosity.
It sounds...
is it better?
I can't remember if it sounds realistic, like if I was running up 141 and then I feel like I was in zone 2.
Because to help explain why, once again, this intersect here, this is where you're controlling all the lactate that you're producing, but beyond this point, that's where lactate's starting to accumulate more than you can clear. And this point right here is 141 beats per minute today.
Okay.
So this is after the fact. Between this point and this point, aerobic threshold, lactate threshold, this is zone 3. This is where you're starting to find that you're producing more lactate than you can clear, and efficiency's dropping off. And you can see there's quite a distinct difference between 14 and 15. A bit of a sharp rise there, right? Yeah. So when I say 141, that's literally the absolute upper limit of you clearing all the lactate you produce. If you were to go to 142 or 143 on average, well, of course, you're only just about here on the curve, so it's still very sustainable. But the reason why we cap it there is because I want to make sure that when you keep your heart rate at this point and below, you're truly developing your aerobic system. Okay. So yeah, once you get up to 158 and above, as you can see, 158 is this lactate threshold point and above. I would deem that to be considered hard, very hard for you. But whenever you're following training and intentionally trying to get up to this effort, remember we don't actually look at heart rate, or certainly measure our training through heart rate. We're actually more likely to be looking at pace, because when you're training hard, intentionally it's speed work or tempo runs, right? Certainly when you're at the track on a Tuesday. So I would consider hard for you to be like a 10k, an easy 10k race pace to be within this bracket. And anything below this is going to be more closer towards 5k, which is more or less true to form based on what you've already proven. Okay, and obviously we're not wearing carbon plated shoes today compared to when you raced, so there's going to be a slight advantage there. But I would encourage you to apply the pace zones for the speed work and the heart rate zones for the aerobic work. Okay. Now the reason why, and I'm just going to add this for the sake of this live, we tell people to not use heart rate for speed work is because there's always a delay and a lag with heart rate, right? Imagine if you did your set on Tuesday. What was the set again that you did? It was like 300 meters or something?
Tuesday, 300 meters times 12,
So imagine you were trying to do that, but to heart rate.
You don't have time to look at your watch.
But, there's that, but by the time you've done your 300, it's probably not anywhere near close to where you want it to be. So. But pace is an immediate reflection of how hard you're working, right? So this is why we encourage people to take a hybrid approach to how they prescribe or measure the stress.
So I was running around 380.
Nice. It's definitely very hard effort then. For 300 meters, it should be.
Exactly. It's interesting, the final reading we did didn't seem to go up as much as that because there's like a cap at some point.
But at the same time, you're spending time there, it sounds like. You told me that you're running like 3-minute pace. Well, this is working your way closer to 3-minute pace, so you're obviously building tolerance at that effort as well, so it doesn't shock me that you'll be able to handle that a little bit better. Okay. But with all of this so far, like any questions about this? Because I normally like to throw it back to the person we're testing.
I think it sounds good. Sounds good.
Okay, now the next thing I'm gonna want to discuss with you, because this is uncommon knowledge, is do you know how to set up your heart rate zones in Garmin?
Yes.
Okay, should we do it for the sake of the live, just so everyone else who has a Garmin knows as well?
Why don't we do it?
Because this is something that no one knows how to do, and neither that Garmin don't make it easy either.
So,
actually, on the phone, you have your phone on you. This is the
phone.
quickest way to make it to update the heart rate zones.
Lock in those zones.
In fact, I'm gonna upload an Instagram reel on this exact topic because so many people ask me the same question. Right, so step 1, from the moment you open the app, is to tap on the watch top right. That's the first step most people miss. Tap the watch again. That's it. And then from there, user settings or profile. It depends on the model you have, by the way, as far as the UI is concerned.
I just set up a new phone recently, but it's
So user profile or user settings, it should be there somewhere. Okay, and then heart rate zones at the bottom. So from here we need to go heart rate. Sports heart rate, because we want to be specific to running. And then from here, zones. Okay, so we want to change it to, it's already on BPM, which is great because sometimes it's not, so just for the sake. So usually it's on these other ones, but you want it to be BPM so you can visually see what is currently programmed in. And you can actually see that it's nowhere near close. Like the Garmin saying zone 1 or easy is like 108 and then steady up to 126, whereas obviously we've got them at 130 and 141.
Yeah.
So to change all of this, you have to hit reset first because there's a bug and it won't let you do it otherwise.
Okay.
And then we'll go from zone 5 down to zone 1. So zone 5 wants to be 164.
Ooh, that's the wrong way. Okay.
158. 142 is for zone 3.
142.
And then 131.
I think I set the wrong one.
If you need help,
Oh, there, yeah. There's a warm-up zone as well.
All
Okay,
good?
yep.
Yep, that looks good to me. So what you need to then do is just keep hitting the back button because that should be automatically saved.
Yep.
And then just sync your watch. And then Garmin and their zones should be true to form.
Okay, yep.
Okay,
So, yep, okay, good.
wonderful. Right, so the last thing I want to kind of touch on then is how do we improve?
Yeah.
Or like at least help explain the intended structure. So when it comes to lactate clearance and lactate tolerance, there's essentially just two sides to the coin, right? Lactate clearance, essentially, sky's the limit. If you consider the human potential, and yes, there's genetics involved here, but and you know some incredibly fit and fast people, the simple reason why is because they've spent a heck of a lot of time developing their aerobic system to improve their ability to clear lactate in our system. Obviously, the world record, as an extreme example, is, I mean, what is it, sub 2 hours now for a marathon. And the only way people like this, genetics aside once again, are able to do this is because of that incredible development they've done. And so when I say development, and this is what I tell every person, what that ultimately boils down to, or the mechanics at play, are your muscle fibers. And there's different types of muscle fibers, slow twitch, fast twitch. And essentially all this training you're doing is intended to develop one or the other, okay? So when you're training at your aerobic threshold and below, so high zone 2 and below, this is where your body preferences slow twitch muscle fibers, okay? When you work your way up towards zone 4, zone 5, your body will engage primarily fast twitch muscle fibers, okay? So with that said, slow twitch muscle fibers, which we engage primarily at zone 1 and 2, or when we train aerobically, they are what clear lactate in your system. The simple reason why is because they are housed with what we call mitochondria. You may have heard of that word before, powerhouse of the cell. But all you need to know is that mitochondria, they, like I say, recycle the lactate, and I like to say they act like funnels, right? So you obviously spent a respectable amount of time, ideally over these years, training and building that muscle fiber. So you've got a good amount of mitochondria, and that's why you're able to clear lactate so well and get up to a pretty respectable output, right?
Does walking help even? Or?
It does, but the damage done is minimal in retrospect to obviously getting up towards like high zone 2, where you're maximizing now both output as well as clearing lactate, engaging slow muscle fibers, right? So, but this is where the whole counterintuitive running slower makes you faster comes into play. A lot of people have heard that, but on the surface, and I empathize, it sounds very counterintuitive and doesn't make sense. But this is the physiology as to why, because when you run slower, i.e. zone 2 and below, that's where you engage this muscle fiber, you tear it through training, it grows back, you go out and do it again, it tears, grows back, and you're enhancing essentially the amount of mitochondria you have. The more mitochondria you have, the bigger the funnel. The bigger the funnel, the faster you can flush all this lactate out in relation to you producing it, and that's what naturally allows you to run faster for less effort. So a large portion of your time, 80%, should be spent developing and engaging that muscle fiber. So when we touch on like you running and doing aerobic work, it's very important that you keep a lid on that stress from start to end. You may start out aerobic because you're fresh and it's relatively easy to keep your heart rate down, but if you don't pay attention to that and it drifts up, or you don't account for that, then the quality of work, in my opinion, starts to lower.
So if you do a run that's 10k and 9k of it is in the zone 1, 2, is that still good or?
I mean, it's not bad at all,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
why not 100% of your run?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know what I mean? Like, that's what I would ideally want to endorse for people is to, because we're only committing so much time to this, right? I'd far rather 80% of your time you're committing be aerobic to get to work on this process.
Yeah.
But then every run where you're trying to follow that, you pay attention to.
So I guess mentally you're just thinking, well, can I get like 90% plus? Can I get a little bit extra on this side as well from the anaerobic?
Well, so this is ultimately what a training plan is designed for, right? To cater to both ends of the spectrum. Because I haven't forgotten about the other 20%, which we'll get to in a second.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, the hard day should be hard and the easy day should be easy. If you're intending to go for an easy run, you've got to keep it easy.
Yeah, I guess because I do very few runs, I want to try and get as much bang for my buck with each run. A little bit of both. But.
So, all the more reason why it's good to just make sure that when you are committing this time, you're capitalizing on it, right? So, this is why actually we encourage people to run zone 1 on their long runs because it deepens your aerobic system, right? So even if things did drift into zone 2, well, it's still inherently aerobic. But the stress comes from the time on your feet, not the output and intensity you're running at, per se, you know? So that's a good 80%. The other 20 is, of course, the flip side. Like, we still need fast twitch muscle fibers developed because they improve lactate tolerance. So where we cross that aerobic threshold, instead of lactate just skyrocketing, kind of like what happened last time. You see here? See how it kind of didn't take too much effort?
Yeah.
I would have imagined that back then, your speed work, your running hills, all of that sort of stuff had work. And you clearly addressed that because you're obviously doing some very intentional speed work now. And that's what's enabled your lactate tolerance to improve. So you're not finding that you're shooting straight up to 4 millimoles now. You're able to, even for a good 2 kilometer increment, boom, boom, still keep it controlled. These are less than 1 millimole increments, which is great. It's not until you go from 14 to 15 that we then see that second turning point. You know, so that's what fast twitch muscle fibers are for, to improve lactate tolerance. And the top 3 typical methods are, like I say, speed work, strength training in like a gym space, and adding hills into your runs. Okay, so we endorse both, but mostly aerobic, slow twitch muscle fiber work with a good amount of intentional anaerobic and fast twitch muscle fiber work.
Okay.
All right.
Makes sense. Yeah.
So that's the objective. All right, man. But this is a really good result. Let me just kind of finish on that. Certainly, a huge improvement since I last saw you, and I'm really happy for you. So I'm very excited to see how the next. Well, hopefully we don't go another 16 months. I'll be honest. It'd be nice to get you back in sooner and see how the next 6 months or so improve. But yeah, good job, man.
Okay, thank you. Great.
All right.
Very informative.
No more questions.
All good. Yeah.
All right, wonderful. Okay, so we're going to get to work emailing this to you, so you'll have a copy of that in the next, I guess, 20 minutes or so. And yeah, I think that's pretty much everything we need to go through.
Okay, cool.
All right.
Yep.
Cool.
I'll keep this video up on YouTube, I guess, and then
share it with us. And tag us in it.
Fitness is the website, right?
Coach.fitness, yeah. Just a subtle plug there. And if you're not sure on the brand, it's on yeah, I've only got it on my head today.
Yeah.
Yeah, just check the website out. Okay.
Great, thank you, Jim.
All right,
Sign
man.
up.
Cool. I'm going to be at the track anyway on Tuesday, so if you have any questions between now and then, like, you go away and absorb this information a little bit more. I'm sure a couple questions will pop up.
Yeah.
Then by all means, you can come